Well, this is probably the one you've all been waiting for. But first,
Footy's done, but the cricket's on. Let's go the thunder. Fur goes back, Billings loves a chat. Water's going to thunder. Thunder hat. Thunder hat. Sammy's lapping bowlers when Canvey is bowling, you can't blink. Most importantly, we don't let it blink. Thunder hat. Thunder hat. Thunder hat.
what a tune. Now, before we get into this, you probably noticed the Sharks gear. Everlast don't pay me. The last 4 or 5 times I've been here, I've recorded after or before the gym and just wear my gym shirt. So I do own other clothing. Second of all, I had a few people reach out and say, why aren't I recording? What happened with the second watch along, etc., etc. It's just not fun. Like, people that know me know I love putting my head on camera. People know I get bored without rugby league. I love talking cricket. The whole reason I started this was to talk cricket with a couple of my real good mates, have watch-alongs with people I've either met or haven't yet met, who I still consider really good friends. It's fun, but it's very taxing, and I'm not playing victim here. It's just the truth. It's very taxing to sit here and try and be positive about a team you know sucks. So I'll let it go. I'll record another one. We'll do another watch on. We'll do something fun because I can't end on a negative. But this right here is the one all the fans of Not the Thunder have been waiting for. And that's the one where I call for Trevor Bayliss to finally be sacked. Now, you notice I'm sitting here alone today. A couple of reasons for that. One, I just wanted to get some stuff off my chest. Second of all, my good mate Stegs, who I've known for almost 30-something, 35, 36 years. It's ridiculous. We go so far back. The reason I had him on the show is because, one, his cricket knowledge is unmatched. Anyone not in the professional level, Stegs probably knows more cricket than you, and I would argue that he knows a lot more than both myself and a lot of people playing the game. He's also an optimist. His positivity is inspiring, and I tend to react on emotion. He doesn't. When I'm angry about the Thunder, I message Stegs, and he's the one that calms me down. There's also a reason I haven't invited him on tonight. I don't want the positivity. I don't want the yeah buts. I don't want the excuses. I want Trevor Bayliss out. Now, let's get to it. I'm going to try and stick to what I've done on the left. It'll be all over the place. I apologize. Anyone that's watching, thumbs up or not, thanks for clicking on. So here we go. 5 years, or 4 and however many games it is, Trevor Bayliss has been in charge of the Sydney Thunder. Right now, we're sitting on a regular season record of 23 wins, 27 losses. We made 3 finals. Now, these aren't perfect. There's washouts. I think we had 2 or 3 washouts during this time. Excuse us, sorry. Then finals results aren't included in these. I just put them together on my lunch break today just to show you, because it's not fair to sit here and say, I've won 23 games. If everyone else has won 18, we're doing really well and I'm a whinger. If anyone else has won 35, 40, then we suck. And what are we doing here? So just to put it into perspective, just a couple of teams. I've got them all here, but I could go all night, and the game starts in about 45 minutes. The Renegades, who were probably the second worst team in the history of the BBL, us being the undisputed number 1, unfortunately, have won 24 games during this time. Now, we do have a game or 2 extra from a lot of these teams. You have to excuse me, I'm just doing this on the fly. The Pink Frauds have won 34, the Renegades have won 24, and the Stars have won 23. Now, the Stars are playing tonight as I record this, and they'll probably by the end of the season go well past us in that 5 years, let's be honest. But as I have to admit, and quite happily, because I'm much happier when my teams win, anyone that knows me can attest to that, we ran deep into the finals last year. Now, we've made 3 finals under Bayliss. We lost 2, so straight sets, as per my beloved Sharkies. We did make it to the final last year. So let's talk about the 2024 into 25 discussion. We made a final last year. Every team that didn't, we did better than. That's a stone cold facts. Now, context does matter, and I don't like to admit this publicly, but we rode an incredible run of luck, both in the way we finished. And I thought we had a good season last year. Don't forget Sams and Bancroft ran into each other and couldn't play, and they were two of our biggest stars and still remain so today, even though he won't pick one of them. We lost the final. We posted 182, I believe, and got run down in about 10 overs. Game was over after 2 overs. McAndrew and I think Wes Agar, they were not for about 60 off 2 and something overs. The game was over, but whatever. We made the final. Definitely not complaining. Back to the context. We ran into the Pink Frauds, who Sydney Sixers, for those playing along at home, who were missing all their stars. Either their imports had left because of scheduling conflicts, or their test stars had missed, had been withdrawn. They were going wherever they were going. Other players rested. And we played, we'll call them the Sixers in names only. We got very lucky. We still won. It's not like we were at full strength. We were missing 2 of our best players, as I mentioned before. But, they're quick to remind us of that, and I do have to give them that. But Nurny, we beat you, so shut up sort of thing. We also beat the Melbourne Stars, who were on their way to flogging us until they did what the Stars do and they capitulated, which is hilarious. And again, we won the game at home. Last year, overall, was an A triple plus. I didn't think we'd make finals. We did exceptionally well. It was what it was. But the year before, oh my God, the year before, 1 win. We missed finals by 7 points. Trevor Bayliss signed a 3-year deal. That was the third in what should have been the last year of a deal. Okay, made finals 2 years before. We didn't win a finals game. Don't forget, these were the five-team series finals, 5 of 8. You should make finals, but we did, so yay. 1 win in an extended season. It wasn't like it is now, which is, 10 games or something. It was a longer season then. That's unforgivable at this level. Like, you can't win 1 game in even 10, which it looks like, let's be honest, this year we might beat the Renegades, and the Heat, aren't real good. So maybe we win 2 or 3 games. Our best thing right now, as we record this, is finishing second last. We can't make finals, and the fixtures work out the way that even if we win the rest, other teams have got to beat other teams. We can hope to finish above the Renegades or the Heat, depending on how things go. But look, it's pretty much fait accompli that we're going to finish second last at best. But back to the one win season. Anyone who could look at that and decide, you know what, he deserves another go, it just doesn't sit right. Now, I've told the story before, but I'm going to tell it again because I respect Trent Copeland. When he was appointed, I thought, fantastic. Fresh start. He's been put in to gut the place and set us on a different track. I don't know how much he had control over it, but the fact is that he's in the position he is. The buck stops with him. So he had to either sign off on it or he was appointed after being told, you must reappoint Trevor Bayliss, which he should have said, no, I'm not doing that because, let's be honest, it's a joke at this point. But Bayliss was reappointed. I was not happy I responded as such in a thread. Was not overly friendly about it. I wasn't tactful. I don't claim to be one of those people. I was annoyed. I was angry, justifiably so, as we sit here now having missed the finals 2 years later. Trent Copeland, who I tagged, I said, mate, what's doing? And he responded, you tagged me in this, as if to say, what's doing? Now, I tweeted that fully expecting to be ignored and or blocked. 99% of people would have seen that I was in a foul mood. I'd use language. It wasn't appropriate. It's Twitter. It is what it is. Go check anyone's Twitter. That's what it is now. And he responded. So, heads up. And I said to him something, I can't remember. Southo Dan's may or may not come back, whatever. I said something to the effect of, hey, we were terrible last year. How can you look us in the eye as fans, long, struggling fans? I'm actually 23 here. I've just been a Thunder fan. And reappoint this done. And he gave a thought out. Again, he could have ignored me and blocked me and said, who's this guy? But he responded. On the night that I was angry, it's not like it was days later, and said, stick by us. We think we've got this in place and we'll live and die by our results and we all want to stand together. And I've got to say, I really respect that. There's a lot of people you call out who know they're in the wrong that just ignore. We see it on Twitter every day. My housemate, who won't watch this because he's not a Thunder fan, I'll call him out on something abhorrently wrong, and he won't correct. He'll just ignore it. And whatever. I've probably done the same numerous times. I get it. You can't beat the trolls, etc., etc. Shout out to Trent Copeland. I love that. Fast forward, I don't know what the Bayliss extension was. I believe it was 1 year, probably rolled into a second, which you had to do. You make the final. No matter what the circumstances, he made the final. He deserves this year. He's failed again, which means 2 out of 3 years we're likely to finish last, potentially on 1 win and miss the finals by a long, long way. I think Thunder fans have earned the right, having won, 2 games in the first 2.5 seasons or almost 3 seasons, to say, hey, come on, we deserve a little bit better than this. Thunder fans deserve a little bit of action. Now, I couldn't name anyone who would do a better job. I could name 50 people who could do a better job. Trevor Bayliss used to be a great coach. Used to be. I think he took the Pinks to a couple of titles. He won a World Cup with England. You know, he knows what he's doing. The game's just passed him by. It happens. Look at the legends. Des Hasler won how many titles with Manly? He's a legend of the game. Sorry if anyone's tuning in purely for, but rugby league is who I am. The game's passed him by. It's been hopeless the last few years. But the Titans didn't go, you know what, he used to be good and he's a good dude, so we're going to extend him. No, they flicked him. They bought Josh Hannay, who was young, nowhere near as experienced, but they've given him a go because he's got fresh ideas. The Thunder need fresh ideas. Obviously, I want to sit here and say Dan Christian. Look, Bayliss should have been sacked last night, 2 years ago. Dan Christian should be the coach as I record this right now. Going forward, is he the guy? I don't know. I think so. I think he's the guy. He's the one I would be. But I would also say to him, are you just going to do what we've been doing for the past couple of years? Because if not, that's not good enough. Extend the search. But anyways, we'll leave that for another time. But Bayliss used to be a good coach. I'm not going to say that we shouldn't have appointed him. When we appointed him, I didn't really know who he was. T20 is not overly important to me. I know you're going to say, oh, yeah, but you're sitting here recording. I'm bored. There's half an hour to the cricket. I've got some sweet potato fries in the oven. The fan's on, if you can hear it, by the way. It's 140 degrees. I make no apologies. And I needed to get this out there. I don't have my platform anymore on Twitter, so this is what you get. But in 3 weeks' time, I won't care about T20. And if you said, hey, the Sharks SG ball, which is the kids, or a Thunder win, which one means more to you? It's SG ball every day of the week. The Southern Sharks mean more. I get it. But if you support a team, you want them to win. Otherwise, you're wasting your time. Anyways, we sit here right now. Although Bayliss was an okay appointee, he won a World Cup. He'd been the Pinks seem to know what they're doing. They're pretty good. They appointed him. Good stuff. But now, come on. I want one person watching this to give me one reason why we should re-sign this guy, why we should have re-signed him 2 years ago. And last year was good, but we didn't win. You don't play to come second. It's a famous quote from whoever made it. Shout out to you. But right now, we are not going anywhere. We've mortgaged our future to a guy who, by all accounts, is one of the loveliest people on earth, but a guy who doesn't really get the game anymore. And by that, I mean, let's go through it. The all-rounder obsession. And I use the term loosely because players like Nathan McAndrew, or McSandu, as he should be named, he averages 30. He's got economy rate just dipped under 9 thanks to some good bowling the other night on a pretty, side-to-side pitch in Adelaide. One we should have chased down quite simply, but anyways, here we are. He's an all-rounder because he's not a great bowler, he's not a great batsman. Okay, you carry one or two of those. Every team needs one. And a good all-rounder, i.e. Jarks Callis, can literally win you a title, as he did with us 2016-17, I believe, or 2015-16. Fantastic Shane Watson, two legends of the club, 2 legends of world cricket. But we don't have any of those blokes. We got Daniel Sams, who I like, but I don't think has ever reached his potential. He's huge, he's powerful, he can bowl, really clever bowler. Can hit, can't bat, but can hit as an 8 or 9 and a pinch hitter. Love him as that. But, when he's named at number 5 or 6, that's embarrassing. Anyways, back to the all-rounders. Chris Green, who I personally love. I think he's probably the face of the Thunder. You could argue Mike Hussey because of what he did for the club. Dave Warner's the bloke they put in front of everyone because everyone knows who he is. And geez, isn't he batting well despite, not getting us home the other night? But we wouldn't have been close if it wasn't for him. This obsession to pick all-rounders. Now, Green's in horrible form. He's got 2 wickets and he's averaging about 10. Warner ran him out the other night. I can't blame him. If the captain, the bloke who's got the game on his bat, says run, you run. I get it, he should have said no, but I'm not going to blame Green for that. He's having a bad season. This is probably the first one he's had in quite a while, to be honest. I love Green. I'm not going to bag it. He should be there. But the fact is, we got people and lots of people in the groups and the Facebooks and the Instagram comments just saying, where's Tom Andrews? We're calling for Tom Andrews, who, had a pretty good season last year at an NG Stadium that was god-awful. It was a dog bowl. It was an awful, awful place to watch cricket. Any spinner will get wickets, and he smacked a few sixes. Again, an all-rounder. He's a park bowler. He doesn't bowl. He doesn't bat. We got 6 of them. We got, again, you can have either Green, McAndrew, and Sams. You get 1 or 2 of them in. But the fact is, we go with Matt Gilch, who's turned the corner, and I'm a huge fan of now. This time last year, he wouldn't have got those words out. David Warner, obviously. They're the openers. They're both in red hot form. You got Sam Constance, who doesn't look like he's ever even seen a game of cricket before. He'll come good. Don't worry. You got to stick with him. You can't. Him moving up and down the order. He's a young player. He's in the test and he was dropped. His confidence is down. I get it. You got to deal with that. He's got undoubted talent. So don't drop him. But you got Cam Bancroft, who had a couple bad games and now seems to be forgotten. He was running the drinks the other night, while blokes that haven't done anywhere as well in the BBL, even recently, are getting runs. You got Sam Billings, who's having the worst season of all. He had 1 good game against the Sixers, and I'm sure there's another one in there. Anyways, I love Billings. I think he's one of the best keepers in it. He's a great chat. I just enjoy him. When he re-signed for us, I was really happy. He played exceptionally well last year. Just out of form. Just really, really out of form. Got moved up to number 3 and got out. Probably cost us the game. If he stays, he gets 20. We win last night or the other night as this drops. In a canter. From there, though, you got Nick Madison, who I love the story. I am so happy he's back. And when we signed him, I was like, hey, there's a reason the Renegades, who were just as bad as we were, got rid of him. He's come back, and it's going to take him some time to refine his feet. I love the story. Nick Madison's not going to get any hate from me, but the fact is he retired himself the other day because he couldn't hit the ball off the green. So, not a world beater. 5 batsmen. 5 batsmen. One of them's firing and one of them is all or nothing in Jilks. More good than bad. Now, Shadab Khan's had to leave, and more about that in just a minute as we go into horrible drafting. But we got Ollie Davies, who was the star of the show a couple of years ago and was the bloke that, hey, he and Jason Sanger, more on him in a minute, in the future of the club. Ollie Davies can't make a team that can't chase down a score or can't win a game right now. You got Billings, who can't score. You got Constance, who I think he needs to sit out the rest of the season and refine his confidence because it's doing him no good. And I hope I hate those words because I'm one of his biggest fans. I love him and I hope he's the future of this franchise. I shouldn't say club, it's a franchise. But Ollie Davies can't make that lineup. You got Cam Bancroft, who had a couple bad games, keeps getting overlooked so he can play 3 or 4 all-rounders that can't bowl or can't bat. All-rounders are great. I get it. If you get a Mitch Marsh in his day or, what they think Cam Green can be or a Bo Webster is, fantastic. Nathan McAndrew, though, keeps getting picked. He's been out of bad form for a year and a half. I heard Greg Blewett say he had a great season last year. Anyways, Wes Agar, again, bowls a couple of overs here or there. He keeps getting picked, and, he's not the worst bowler in the world, but is he any more deserving than a bloke like Davies who, was batting like crap and deserved to be dropped? But at what point do you bring him back? Because we need to play 6 batsmen. Anyways, the year we won that one game, and shout out to Stegs if you watch, I'm so sorry for the grief you had to cop and continue to cop. We were playing 4 batsmen, and one was Jill, so 3.5 batsmen, terrible year. Daniel Sams and Chris Green as batsmen. How'd that go? Daniel Sams averaged about 6 all year at number 5 or 6, whatever he's batting. Disgraceful. And no one thought to say, "Wait, Trevor, maybe play another batsman or 2, mate." Anyways, let's go on. Game starts in 10 minutes. I want to watch. Horrible drafting. Lockie Ferguson. When we drafted him last year, I was like, oh, sweet. Great bowler. We have terrible bowling stocks, the worst in the Big Bash by a long way. He immediately improves it. Started the season on fire, then went off to play Saudi or South African League, whatever it is. Okay, I'm not going to blame him. That's a contract he signed. He had to honour it. But we drafted him knowing this. Anyways, if we had him in the final last year, I don't think anyone beats Mitch Owen, or I don't think Pete McGrath would have beaten Mitch Owen on the night, but we would have done better than what we did because the game was over after 2 overs, which when you score 180 You should be in the game till at least a 12, 13, 14, 15 over mark. Anyways, this year we used our number one pick to retain him. I think someone might have tried to take him, and we called whatever it is, a hold or whatever it is. Maybe not. Don't quote me on that. Sorry. But we did end up with him. And straight after, both Bayliss and Copeland and the press release said we picked on availability. Now, Lockie Ferguson was unavailable until now. He would have played the other night if he hadn't been injured. Now, injuries happen. You can't. I'm not blaming anyone for that. But he would have arrived with the season done. Our number one pick, season's done. He arrives, picks up a couple of good wickets. We go, yay, probably saves Bayliss's job. Terrible. You know, we go down to Shadab Khan, who at the time I thought we don't need another spinner. He's been exceptional. Arguably our best player outside of maybe Warner, maybe Jilks. You know, there's been some good performances here and there, but I think he's been fantastic. So I'm happy to eat so much crow on that. Plus, he's such a good dude, and people love him. Geez, those Pakistani fans, they are so obsessive about their cricket. It's a great pickup. Ravi Ashwin. We signed him. Great pickup. And Billings is, of course, there. But Ashwin, I was excited about this, not because he's in great form. He's a legend. He's 42 or something now. He got injured. Old man injuries happen. Hello. I understand, Ravi, if you're watching. Hopefully, you'll see you next year, mate. You'll have to go by the draft, so I'll be able to pinch you. But he and Shadab Khan were the same person. You can only play one. You'd only play one in the exact same role. So I didn't love that, but whatever. If you sign an Indian legend, it gets you a million eyes or a billion eyes even, but a million eyes on your game potentially. If you're selling merchandise, you get more money. You can sack this bloke and get a decent coach. I get it. That was fine. But last year, we signed Rutherford. Shemaine Rutherford, I think. I can't remember. And they had one match-winning innings, and otherwise I think he averaged about 6 off about 10. He was horrible, and he left halfway through the tournament last year. So we ended with one pickup. Now, this year, of course, they were pretty quick to replace Ashwin, who dropped out, knowing that Lockie would come in later. And they brought in that guy. I'm not even in the. I can't remember his name. I flat chat, don't care. Bowl like crap and should never play again. But anyway, they've gone and got David Willey, who I think we picked at number 1 a couple of years ago, and he might have pulled out from memory now that I said it. Again, don't quote me on this. Whatever. I'm just shooting from here. But he's come in. He looks okay, but the season's over. Who cares? He can take 100. We can score 100 runs every time. Season's over. Whatever. So anyways, the draft is horrible. Next year, hopefully Bayliss isn't out. Hopefully Copeland gets someone who knows what they're doing and can look at a fixture list. Because they said, we picked on availability. And Stegs and I went in and found that Ferguson was unavailable relatively quickly. I'm sure someone with a lot more knowledge than us, a lot more time and a lot more insight and info would have picked that up. But anyways, NG Stadium, our record, 0-3 as we sit now. 0-3. Other teams have worked this out. We went spin heavy this year, really, really, really spin heavy. They relayed the pitch. No one can spin it off the straight. Chris Green's got 1 with 2 wickets. Tom Andrews looked horrible the other night when Tanvir Sangha got dropped. He's bowling so badly. Last year he was so good at NG Stadium. They've gone really spin heavy, knowing they were relaying the pitch. It's completely different. It is a world of difference. A 200 score in NG Stadium last year was literally impossible. If you got 140, you were right in the game and won more often than not. This year, we've gone spin heavy, and don't forget, step hits straight down the ground is so short at NG Stadium. Everyone worked it out. Quickly, the Pink realised, hey, let's bowl back of a length and get him hit and get him caught on the long boundaries. Comparative, it's not a huge stadium, but comparative to what you got driving straight down the ground. Then Perth did the exact same thing. We had months. They had 20 overs to look. I cannot believe we're sitting here 0-3 at your home ground. Now, we did have a win in Canberra. I think our record down there is pretty damn good, to the point where if they would have moved 4 or 5 games a year to Canberra, or all of them, I want to win. I don't go to many games. I'm not in Western Sydney, full disclosure. I'm in Southern Sydney. Just can't wear pink, and I felt closer to our lot. Jeez, that's a bad thing to say out loud, that I chose this life. Anyways, NG Stadium, terrible. You should win your home games. So let's go back to Ollie Davies and Jason Singer. Young players, and I saw a lot of people call for young players to come in, rightfully so. They don't want to sign for us. Hadley has got 1 game. Aiden O'Connor, I doubt you'll see this year, even though he signed on great raps. Young players don't want to play for us. Don't forget, Jason Sanger was captain of the franchise a couple of years ago, batting at number 3. He and Ollie Davies were 3 and 4. They were the guys. Sanger left this year. Now, I know he's gone home. I know he wanted to move back closer to home. But you cannot tell me if he's the captain opening the batting for the years, he wouldn't get picked when we were losing all those games. He got one bad score and we dropped him real quick. Yeah, we stick with McAndrew, who goes for 100 runs every time. Jason Sanger said, no, I'm out. Ollie Davies has regressed terribly. Sam Constance has gone backwards. Young players won't sign with us because they know there's no opportunities here. I don't know whether it's a Bayliss is just picking the guys he knows because he knows their names. He doesn't know the young kids' names, or whether there's the kids aren't ready. Why sign them if you're not ready? That I can't get into that argument. I hear a lot of things. Well, he's not ready to play. Cool, put him back in grade cricket. He shouldn't be on the books if he's not ready to go. Jason Sanger, I know he's not having a great season this year, but I cannot believe we let him go. Ollie Davies just looks like he's got no idea. He's still young enough to come in and do something. But his brother, Joel Davies, is one of the players of the competition this year, to the point where someone suggested he might win the MVP award, whatever they call that this year, if Cooper Connolly doesn't, or Jack Edwards. I think they'd be in the top 3, and then, a little bit of a gap to the rest. He's playing. He was one of ours. People forget he was us. And he played one game. We played him as a specialist fielder. We didn't bowl him, or he had one over, and he was way down the list. Guy's a killer for the Pinks. What's going on there? It's easy to joke, we kept the dud, brother. I still think Ollie's got a future. I just think he needs to find his role, because he comes in at 3 and tries to pinch hit, or he comes in at 7 when we're 6 for or 5 for 40-something. What do you expect him to do? Everyone bags him for playing a dumb shot. But Joel Davies is a bona fide superstar. I was reading earlier, the raps on him from real early were great. And we let him go just because. Can't blame him. Another thing I've seen as a car pulls up, apologies if you can hear, is that people are saying, it's the players, it's not the coach. He's picking the players. And I said, power play and power surge. We are the worst this year. I believe we were second worst last year. Our power surge, I think we have 2 wickets before last night. So what's that, 4 now? In the power play, rather. The power surge, we cannot get right. We got 2 in batsmen, and we pushed too far. The only time he ever got it right, and I think we are statistically the worst. I know this year we are, because the other night we got maybe 13 in 2 overs, and we conceded like 30. That's not good for anyone else playing at home. He can't get it right. The only time it ever worked was when Ben Cutting was at his, wouldn't say peak of his powers, but he's very, very good. And Sam Billings, and they would just call the power play when those 2 were in. That was just a flat chat plan. There's no one like that anymore. Daniel Sams isn't what he was as a hitter. You got to call it. The other night at 10 overs in wherever we were, Constance was flying, and Gilsey was flying. He didn't call it. He left it late. We ended up winning anyways, but it was more to spite him. Anyways, terrible at that. We got no test stars coming back. There was a graphic earlier, and I hear you say Pat Cummins. He's not going to play. Why would they risk Pat Cummins to come back with a T20 World Cup to play a couple of games for a team that are out of it? They didn't even put him on the graphic. The Sixers have got half the bloody test side coming back. In Brisbane, they've got Marnus and a couple of others. Like we were at relative full strength. There are Spencer Johnson's missing for the Heat. There are players. Travis Head's coming back. Alex Carey. They're going to get better. We aren't getting better. Even with Cummins in, who cares? Hardest thing. Sorry if I butchered that name. Joel Davies. I mentioned I jumped the gun there. But Singh, I think he's 22 or something. He came off 300 in a grade cricket, a T20 or one day or whatever it was. World Cup winner, playing for Western Sydney Cricket Club. Sydney Sixers picked him up. Excuse us. We got all these players missing. We couldn't even take a chance on a young kid. I don't know, maybe we went to him and said, do you want to have a go? And he's like, no chance, I'm not going to play. The Sixers picked him up. Offensive. Take a risk. Here it is. Young players don't trust Bayliss, and why should they? Name one player. No, actually, it's been 5 years. Name 3 players that have become superstars under Bayliss. Name 3 players who have improved dramatically under Bayliss. I would argue Davies has gone backwards. Stanger went backwards before a good pickup last year. Warner's an established star. Jilks, he was terrible for 2 years. He's been good, so he's on the way up. I'll give you half of Jilks. So give me 2.5. McAndrew hasn't. Agar hasn't. Tanvir Sanger hasn't. If anything, he's gone backwards. Chris Green hasn't. He's undoubtedly gone backwards. Now, someone in the comments I want genuine. I'm not being a smartest. Name 3 players who have improved under Bayliss. Give me 1 young player. The only game we won this year was batting first. So, of course, every time we win the toss, we put him in, can't chase. Now, I want to get out of here because the game's about to start. But Cricket New South Wales and Trent Copeland, the skeptic in me thinks that they want the Sixers to do better than us. Maybe it's just their better run. Well, undoubtedly better run. No one let them know that. The skeptic in me thinks they put Copeland in to protect Bayliss. I hope I'm wrong. I don't think he really had much of a choice, to be honest, because I think anyone who did have a choice would have sacked him outright 2 years ago. We'll know in a couple of weeks because I think we're going winless for the rest of the year, unfortunately. I think we're going to finish last by about 4, maybe 6 points. If we are going to finish last, I hope it's by a while and we do get action. But we will know that if Bayliss is reappointed, then stop supporting the club because it's a Trevor Bayliss show and not the Sydney Thunder. Anyways, that's my rant. I'm off to watch the Stars and the Scorchers. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, or whatever. We'll be here. Let's have some fun. But right now, Bayliss out.